face.
You know.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Dang.
All right, my man, you ready to rock this?
Let's do it. Let's throw it
God,
down.
you are so ready.
I'm ready.
Oh man, I'm excited. All right, here we go. Are you rolling? You're already rolling.
Rolling.
All right. Hello and welcome to the How to Hobby podcast. This is episode 151, and we have a fresh face behind the mahogany desk for this episode of the podcast. I am so excited, listeners, to bring a returning guest for 2025, my good buddy from What the Podcast, Ryan Tafoya, joined us here. Welcome
Let's
again.
let's give it up for Johnny P with that intro. Come on. 151, huh? The benchmark of the first original Pokemon.
That
How,
is
how many of those Pokemon do you think you could name just off the cuff?
off the cuff. Oh, I could probably give you a solid 20.
Catch them all? No? Well, 20 is good.
What what
Thank
what what are you at? You
I don't know if I could
like 50?
name. No, no chance. No
Okay.
sweat. 20 is probably about the starters for sure, and then some of those really cool ones.
Did you have like a solid Game Boy Color era Pokemon that it was like your tried and true.
No, Pokemon was like one of those things that we grew up in a house that was like no Harry Potter for a while, and
Oh yeah.
Pokemon was kind of like an offshoot of that. Like, just didn't really understand it. And so I was playing a lot of Mario Bros, but that was about it.
Mm.
Later in life, got into Pokemon. So
Man,
that's about
the OG though, the Indigo League, if we're really gonna go back to it and crack the lid, there was nothing like that original starter set. The Bulbasaur,
Yep,
Charmander, so cute too.
absolutely.
Charmander. I mean, how can you not like that?
They say their names. That's
Pikachu.
their catchphrase.
I mean,
I
exactly.
I'm sorry. I'm instantly derailing this podcast. I
What are you
apologize.
what are you doing, man? We're supposed
Immediately,
to keep it.
151 just rang so true in my ears. Episode 151. Congratulations, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and thanks for
Good to
being
be
here.
here.
You guys are also equally 10 steps ahead. I think you're almost at episode 200, if not even further. Am I correct?
We just this week recorded
Oh
236,
my gosh! Wow,
approaching that
unbelievable.
250, that 5 year mark. We've been talking about doing something kind of special for it, so we'll see.
Well, congratulations once again. It's
Thank you,
it's
sir.
wonderful to see the fruits of any consistent labor come to bear. And well, we actually have a lot to talk about because you have been building, and that
We
has been the
do.
focus.
Yes, absolutely. So just run it back for me just a little bit so I stay within the focus.
Hmm.
Run back building for me.
All right, so let's. Well, first I got to talk through some of the things you want to build because you were breaking down. You have done some things. You're building a business, right? You're building a
Yes,
successful podcast.
that's right.
And we're always building here in the lounge the best we can be. And specifically in 2025, it's been a huge focus, right? Because we're in Q2 and that's the building quarter. We've coined it here. Listeners come in from all over the world and they want to know how to be the best. And it's kind of like Indigo League, right? We're all just being
I
the
want to
best
be the
trainer we
very
can be.
best,
We want
like
to
no
be the
one ever
very
was.
best.
Who knew
So
it was going to be so relevant to the conversation?
it's unbelievable.
That's fantastic.
It's so good. But so you've built a little business, and we'll get into that later. But
Yes.
you're interested in joining the world of PC gaming, is what you told me, because I am a PC gamer, and
Yes.
you are at this point a Switch gamer. Is that still true?
I am. That is very true. I'm still a gamer on my Switch, playing, still getting Fortnite dubs, still playing,
Love it, man.
the new Zelda when it came out. And that's what, for a while I was streaming and I've kind of put it down, but I recently have thought about like bringing that back just because
Hmm.
that's like a really enjoyable thing for me. But the hardware of it all is the Switch pretty much starts running like it's going to take off into flight as soon as
Oh,
you the
Yes.
Switch and my computer. I've got a Mac Mini, and it's just not. I don't have the hardware for it,
Ah,
frankly. And so you're obviously an expert, and my friend, co-host of What the Podcast, John Albright, also quite the. He just built his second PC, full specced out, and
what are we talking here? Do you
I,
know the
I
GPU?
don't, I don't know a darn thing about
Okay,
it,
all
John.
right, all
I,
right.
I
I'm gonna have
just
to.
know that the it's one of those things we talked about last time I was here. It's modular. There's every piece of it you can
Yep.
kind of get your hands on and spec it out the
Mhm.
most, you know, your RAM and your processing and this and that, everything you can kind of go like, okay, this is the best pick for that thing. It fires me up. It's interesting
It
to me.
it it is very similar to building a camera rig for sure.
It
Like
absolutely
you
is.
get your lens, and for listeners that you didn't hear the last episode we had Ryan on, you got to go and listen to it because it was great. We talked about photography, and I'm not an expert in photography. In fact, I was very interested in everything that you were saying because we're all interested in learning things here. So with
Absolutely.
that, why don't we put down the PC gaming? Because I mean, it is modular, it's cool, but I don't
Let's
think
hang it
it's as
up for just a minute here because I
let's
don't know
let's hang up,
anything about what we're talking about.
let's hang it up, and let's move on to the real meats and potatoes of this episode, which is going to be all
Yes.
about our something that everybody, in fact, deems as I think at this point, Ryan, an essential of life,
Absolutely.
and
Yep.
it is. Can you guess, listeners? Coffee.
It has to be. It's coffee.
It's coffee. And Ryan here is actually the newest what is that word? Purveyor of
Purveyor.
quality coffee to the Ocean Beach area of San Diego. So we're going to be talking through this process of building his business. It's going to be really interesting. I'm excited to hear it. Excited to hear what you built, what you're doing physically, emotionally, mentally, the vibe you're setting. I mean, again, this is all tied into what we're doing when we interact with this beverage every single morning. I have a question though for you, Ryan. So
Lay it on me.
this is something that is deeply ingrained in your morning routine, is it not?
Absolutely, it is. I mean, ever since it goes back to when I was in college and I got the coffee mate little 5 cup pot in the dorms. You're drinking coffee from the pot. And then from there, you're like, okay, well, I need to go work on homework. I'm going to go sit at a little cafe, a little coffee shop or something, get some work done. I know all the baristas, whatever. And it slowly becomes this thing, or at least it does for me. I'll use my I me statements here.
Mhm.
It became this thing where we got an espresso maker for our wedding. Somebody bought us this espresso maker, and that just cracked the lid open and this whole new world. Once you start down this espresso path, then it's like it's that thing we're talking about. It's every piece of it. It's the what beans are you grinding? What's your grind size? What's your shot pull? At least for me, I like to nerd out on that stuff. So coffee is, but I love that kind of coffee the same way I love that, dirty pot coffee. It's just, it's a something about it, the warm in your hands, the feeling you get after that first cup, that second cup. You get a nice little boost for your morning.
And no better place to enjoy a cup of coffee than right after a surf session. You come up, you wash up onto the beach, just haggard because you've just been hitting it so hard.
Beaten down,
You're beaten down.
lips are
It's
all salty.
the dead of winter. I mean, it's like 40 in the water and 75 on the beach. So you're you're immediately like refreshed.
Yep. Yep.
But then you get that cup.
And you can feel it. It like rolls down your throat. You can feel it in your arms. You're like, this is a little dramatic, but
Yeah, you've like been completely depleted. That's when you drink
yes,
your coffee.
that's when you
That
get
that is
that cup.
exactly the point. When you take in that, it's like a direct injection.
Long
There,
weekend, you know, no hair of the dog for me, man. It's just good old black coffee.
Well, and we actually the last time I was in San Diego, thankfully, we were able to squeeze in a morning,
Yeah.
um, not so distant from what I just described. Right down OB Roasters, right?
Yeah.
Or
OB beans.
OB Beans. And I'm
Yes.
telling you, man, that was every time. And I think from a standpoint of connecting, it's such a nice experience to be able to sit down and now again, of course, like you said, the dirty, like your dorm, you could be in there by yourself and it's fine. But the
Or
moment
you
you
go into
connect,
your neighborhood diner and they've got that, 1970s version. It's like the three pot situation and they're pouring you out a mug. That
yes.
I love all versions of it. We got to spend some time last summer in Italy.
Mm,
You walk up to these little cafes in Italy. They give you the, little tiny cup of espresso. Boom, it's $2. And you and these old Italian guys sit out in front of the little bistros and they'll work that one little espresso cup for 2 hours, smoke their cigarettes, drink that little tiny cup, talk to people, feed the birds. That was like a whole other experience too. It transcends all cultures have like some
yeah.
version of that warm cup in your hand, man.
Oh man, I love it. So give me just real quick, just
Yes.
rapid fire. Give me your top brand currently in San Diego and then just outside, like and from anywhere.
Wow.
Give me
Wow,
those
wow.
two real quick.
Huge question. There's a
Uh,
lot of good coffee in San Diego.
there is actually it's kind of a mecca. If you go
Yeah,
on the forums, it's crazy.
it
But
really is.
give me your flash pan answer.
Wow, because I've been drinking a lot of coffee lately, and I've been trying to go to these, all different places around town. Bird Rock has been on my list
Okay.
over there in Bird Rock Coffee Roasters. OB Beans top my list for sure. There's this place we just went to. It's called Immersion.
Oh,
Immersion. That's over in La Jolla,
okay.
and there's this kind of coffee culture too. That's like a little Kearney Mesa adjacent where it's these kind of Asian style, you know, I have like a chocolate orange latte and they've got the cold foam on top, real kind of flashy, but
Oh, okay.
me and my
Okay.
wife, we love that kind of stuff. I had a chocolate orange latte.
Yeah.
Um, Dark Horse started in
Yes.
Hawaii, came over to San Diego. I mean, the list goes on, man. There's a lot
I
of good coffee. I just, and then I guess worldwide, I just had somebody from Valor Coffee reach out to me and send us some samples
Oh,
for our business.
very
Valor,
cool.
they're out of Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, I
Oh,
think.
interesting.
Sent me their whole gambit, all of their roasts to try. A little, a couple little 10-ounce testers. Got to try their whole thing. I nothing but love for them. And those guys have a podcast how
Oh
to
man.
how to set up your coffee car. I've been watching their podcast, kind of getting info. That's how I work. The school
Yes.
the school of YouTube.
Yeah, I
It's
know, man.
very
Isn't it great?
I love it. So yeah, love the shout out to Valor Coffee. Love
Oh,
those
that's
guys.
great. So I got to give you mine as well.
Yeah, give it to me.
Big fan, obviously, of San Diego. And when I go out there, I do exactly that. I go out surf and I immediately come in and get my morning cup.
Yeah.
Um, and I do think it's a tie for me between Bird Rock Roasters and James Coffee. I always come home
James.
with a 12 with a 12 ouncer of James whole bean coffee. It's great. I like the brand. Something about the brand too, right?
They're great for like roasts that are kind of off kilter too. I think I had like their beans. It was like a dark roast, but they had aged their beans in like whiskey barrels or something.
Oh,
Just
interesting.
like crazy. I mean, the stuff they're doing with coffee. Those guys always submit for like the barista competitions and
Yes.
stuff. They take that very seriously too. So
Yeah, it's cool to see how, it gets you. And it's very similar to almost like a brewing culture or,
yes,
a wine culture where it just envelops you and takes you in. Then, like you said, I mean, I have a buddy that goes to my church out here and he has the full blown espresso
That's all right.
setup with the little percolators and
Yes.
the or I think it's like a little it looks like you're stroking the coffee. But
Uh-huh.
anyway,
Yes.
I I'll be honest with you. I'm very simple. I do pour over or the AeroPress. I've been using the AeroPress from when I'm out in the wilderness camping.
Love the AeroPress. Absolutely. A good French press now and then is
Yes.
great. Yeah, I just started really getting into the pour over situation too lately
Oh,
because I'm like all these different roasts and I mean talk about like, you know, the forums, man. There's these
oh,
people that it's like science. They're like, okay,
yep.
what grind size, how fine are you grinding? How much time is it taking for the water to pass through the
I know it's
coffee? You can get different tasting notes if it's taking, a minute and 30 seconds as opposed to 3 minutes. You can get like this dark. I mean,
I
it's a rabbit hole,
it gets
really.
silly.
It
And I
gets,
was there so there's a oh, so those are my two in San Diego. And I gotta finish my worldwide or
yeah,
quote unquote
you
US
got any
wide.
good coffee out there where you guys are at?
Yeah, we do actually. Yeah, my local coffee shop that I do really enjoy, and they source out of Brazil, I believe. Um, farm to cup, the most trendy used phrase when it comes to
Love it.
coffee. Paishudo is kind of our local one, but I still really enjoy just at home experience with the kids and the wife.
Yes.
So that's like the special occasion. And then I've actually been a fan again from like mass market perspective, Blue Bottle. I've been a fan
Blue
of Blue
Bottle.
Bottle out of New
Yeah.
York City.
I've had a couple of good Blue Bottle cups. They do all, when you go in there, it's like they all of their milk drinks they only serve oat milk, alternative
Oh,
milks.
interesting.
Ask me about alternative milks, man, because I tell you,
Oh man, here we go. What
I'm getting ahead of myself.
you know what Blue Bottle is to me though? It's the pure project of coffee. Do you
Yeah,
not see that?
yeah,
It's
I
like the
do, I
same
do.
exact branding, except one is like,
Silicon Valley of coffee, like what Starbucks at one point kind of was, or tries to be with their like reserve thing, but it's like really simple branding, like Blue Bottle, all the down to like the interior design of these places when you go in there. It's very
yes,
like clean. And yeah, I'm right there
cleanly.
with you.
The
Uh-huh.
the espresso machine is on full display. Like it's always there. They
Yep.
have that thing in the corner, the light in the corner, and we'll get into your setup. So I don't want to get too far
No,
ahead of
that's okay.
ourselves.
I can nerd out on coffee all night with you. So that's you'll have to just push me in the right direction.
I'm gonna push you, but this is such a fun thing, and I
Yes.
think for all you listeners that maybe you're going, wow, I'm still just on the Mr. Coffee in the pot, and I'm not even really sure what I'm drinking. I would encourage you to now. I think at the minimum we should define what the differences are between some of the beans that you may see, some
I'm
the very basic verbiage,
I'm going
which
to tell
is
you a little story
oh
before
yes,
we
please do, please
to
do.
get us into this here. Coffee originally in the olden days only grew in Africa, Ethiopia specifically, and regions around
Hmm.
Ethiopia. And once it was discovered by European imperialists, hello, add it to the list, they said we're going to only be importing coffee to the crown.
That's
And
right.
we basically have this embargo on it, and nobody else can. And we can credit a Dutch sailor back in the 1500s. Allegedly, this is obviously a little bit anecdotal here,
All right.
but this Dutch sailor stole a handful of beans, put it in his pocket, and started a farm in Brazil or something. And that basically was like all of the coffee in the rest of the world can be traced back down to like this
That is
moment in history.
wow.
Never
And
knew.
that and
Only out of Africa was the only place that coffee grew, and now you can find it in Hawaii, in Brazil, Nicaragua,
South America, all of
Honduras,
South
all of
America.
the the coffee belt they call it of the world,
Well, and
south of the equator.
so quality is obviously a big metric here when we talk about and I think one of the disservices, I'll be honest with my um my journey with coffee. I think there's always a starting point
Sure.
in everything that you enjoy. Here, I'm very similar to you. I like to get into the weeds and understand everything. I want to
Yeah.
understand how that Dutch sailor grabbed
Yes.
the gold and he didn't even know probably. He's probably just like, "Oh, well, this
I'm
seems
gonna take
important.
some of this home.
I'm gonna take some
Same.
of this with me." Um, but at the end of the day, I didn't start until college really engaging with this beverage because I was like, like I don't know. I was so busy as a kid. You know me,
Well,
Ryan. I'm
and
kind of
it's the third wave thing kind of brought that on. I mean, this is still very like new in terms of like pop culture, these like
yes.
this fascination, this interest in like where coffee comes from is very like the past 20 years, you know. So
I
it's
and that's the thing I want to break down for the listeners here is like you may be again, there is a difference in bean quality. There's the Robusta. There's really only two beans. Is that am I correct in that?
I'm gonna let you wrap because you're
Okay.
gonna know more than me.
So Robusta beans, that is like I know for a fact there's two ways of looking at it. There's the low bound and there's
Mm.
the high bound.
Yes.
The lowest bound is Robusta. And that is pretty much just it's been processed in a way and it's like the low hanging fruit of coffee. That's
Yes.
really all you need to know about it. And you don't this is the Maxwell House, the Folgers, the Walmart
The
brand.
blends, if you
That's
will.
right.
It's kind of, coffee from this part of the country, coffees from all different parts of the world, and it's all coming back to upstate New York or wherever their processing plant is, and then it's getting shipped
And
out in these
and they're
red
adding a
cans.
little bit of hazelnut just to go
A
along,
little
just to make it.
flavored coffee action. Yeah, I mean, you know, hey,
So
we
the
all
high
we all drank it. We all grew up
we
drinking it.
we did. And
Yeah.
and like you said, the dark pot I still love like at work every single day. I still do the carafe, and because it's just the experience of like you don't. It's almost like a mystery, right?
Yeah.
It's the whole experience of like touching things that
It's the ritual. It's the
yeah,
making the coffee, the warm in your hand. Yes.
exact that
Yeah, yeah.
whole experience. So then the upper bound is the Arabica. And this is what has been the buzzword in my mind. I
Yeah.
remember actually having a discussion with a buddy a year ago who was probably more into espresso than I was.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, you got to make sure it's the Arabica." And I was like, "What?"
You'll hear words like single origin get
That's
thrown
right.
around. You'll hear, pea berry is like the creme de la creme of this, the seed that's coming out of they only grow on the ends of the plant or whatever, you know. And I mean, there's all different ways that they're processed too.
Yeah.
Like for instance, there's these farms in Brazil that are just fully industrialized. I mean, these kind of what do you call it?
Shakers.
Shakers, and if they're shaking all the beans off and these big trucks are driving through. And then there's these farms in places like Ethiopia that are like all the farmers are doing it by hand, and they're gathering 50 pounds a day individual, like
Yeah.
single guys are like picking the coffee, and they have to pick so much a day to make, $1 or something. Like
It's just
it's
crazy.
crazy. I mean,
And then sun dried. I know that
yep.
I've seen that on James, and I'm not gonna
Washed
lie.
or naturally processed.
Yes. And now again, I think to a certain point, yeah, hear me out. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I do enjoy understanding all of it. I think at
It's
the end of the day, and Anthony Bourdain actually did a great talk on this. Have you ever listened to his second book? It's
no,
the one that came
but
after
big fan of
or
Anthony
read it.
Bourdain.
I highly recommend. But he does this great piece on like there is there can be like an over enunciation. Like it seems as though like we're always swinging the pendulum.
Yep.
And from his perspective as a chef, it's like, wait, now I have to spend $5, $6 on a cup of coffee. Like that is not like that's capitalism, and I'm not about that.
Absolutely.
Like,
But there is like, you ever go wine tasting?
yeah, I've been a
I
few
mean,
times.
it's the same kind of thing where they're like, you're gonna get essence of cola in this and stone fruit, and you're like, some people are like, yep, I'm nosing that for sure, and then some people are like, it's red wine and it reminds me of college and I don't want to drink it. So, but there's room for both,
Yes.
especially in coffee, where, like we were saying, it's like, like simple doesn't mean ill, like bad quality. Simple can just mean like sometimes you just want that cup after your surf, man. You just want your
Yep.
coffee.
And
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, just even tiptoeing in, I always personally, I'm one of those where I go in and I just want the black cup.
Yep.
Like I just want, give me the 12 ounce of your drip and I'll go from there. We'll figure out if this is going to, because again, those are still $2. And that's the only
Yep.
thing that I will say I don't think he included was like, yes, the lattes and the add ons and the alternate
Yep.
milks and all of the foams. Of course,
For me,
it's
it's a
extra processing.
cortado. For me, it's just the double shot of espresso with
Okay.
even amount steamed milk.
Okay. And
That
that's
is
called
like
the,
it's called a cortado.
okay. I've seen that on the menu.
Cortado. And that for me is like the baseline. If the cortado is good, then that like we can trust this coffee
We
shop
can,
because that's like the simplest, but it's like the purest form of like milk and espresso to me is like, okay.
I love the
Nope, that
name.
was burnt. That was bad. We can't stay here. We have to leave.
Oh, okay. One more rapid fire for you
Give it to me.
on the burn note.
Yeah.
Is Starbucks burnt to you?
I rarely these days have a good tasting Starbucks coffee. I mean, just their cold
Really?
brew is too much. Their cold brew is gnarly. Their espresso, I mean, it would be easy to be a hater because that's like a typical, you know, like third wave coffee thing where like Starbucks sucks now. But like
But they're everywhere.
you once you kind of go to that fountain, it's hard to go back. Like go back to Starbucks. Their prices are expensive and they're not good. So, if I'm like driving home late night on the road, I'm coming back from LA or
Yeah.
Disneyland or something, and it's like, okay, well, let's stop at Starbucks on the way. You got to do what you got to do. Get your caffeine. But I willingly these days, I'm not going to Starbucks.
And it's a fair point. And thank you for answering. I
And thank you
personally,
for receiving that because I was a little vulnerable back there, but thank you.
you're so good. I don't know where I stand on that one. And I want to, I don't know. I think that there's still something there.
Hmm.
We're not going to get into it here. That's a whole other episode because I think the business and the whole experience associated with doing and building a mecca of that state is
Yeah,
cannot be anything but looked upon as a triumph. Really, I mean, again, when
absolutely.
for
But
the
I mean,
industry,
well,
for
and
the
then
industry,
I just saw a video that, thousands of their workers were walking out this week in protest that they're not getting a fair wage. And so, but that's again, that's a whole other
and
podcast.
and this is new CEO territory, right? There's
Yeah.
so much into
Yeah.
this, but let's digress from this one
Let's
and
do it.
move on to the real
Since the
interest of my
since the last time
heart.
I was on the show, I tripped into a small business.
Yep, you kind of tripped into it.
I
So
did.
let just so I'll just say first and foremost, I've seen some of the reviews. They look phenomenal. I was watching some of the vids, people posting. It was great to see.
Thank you.
Shout out Michael Penning for a wonderful review of your. I felt like I was right there.
Watch
He
out. That guy's got a budding social presence.
he's
He's
got a
got a,
good
a good career in coffee reviews. So
100%. Always has been
ahead of him.
so
Yeah.
soft, so sultry. I mean, just great content. I
Love me
was I
some
was
Mikey
so
P.
I was just filled with joy. But so your business, it's called Little House Coffee.
That's right.
You've been in business for how long now?
We started really at the beginning of the year in the planning process, and then we had our first pop-up event March 1st. So we are just now this week 3 months of doing business. And that is, I mean, we've done probably this weekend's going to be like our sixth one. We haven't done it every week. We've been doing them like we did one in March, and then maybe we did two in March and like two in April, and then we're doing our third one in May. So
And so explain to me, we're really trying to build this out as a, you
yes,
had a love affair with coffee like we all do. And
I
what pushed you?
great
How
question.
did you trip?
Yes. So I mean, it goes back to when I had a van. When I had the big red van, I was like, how can we make this? Because you see these videos where people have, the teardrop trailer or the horse wagon, and then it's like a built out custom to be this like traveling coffee shop, which I love. I'm like, those are awesome. They get these like Japanese import mini trucks. Have you seen those?
Oh,
So
yep, yep.
so
The
cool.
little Hondas.
So it gets me fired up like, okay, how can we turn this into like a thing? We love coffee. How great if we had our own business, Kara. I'm like, dragging my wife along in this adventure here.
Oh, she's
Like,
so
how
great.
great if we didn't have to work, we could just make coffee all day. But it was never like super serious until at the end of last year, we found this cart. We found this, and I'm going to send you some pictures. So maybe if you wanted to superimpose them or just to enjoy
Perfect.
them. Um,
Yes.
we
I'll
found
make
this
some
beat
posts.
up cart, and we did some sleuthing because in OB, there's this culture of like people just throw stuff out in the alleyways and it's like free up for grabs. It's not there for very long because people just troll the alleys and we're always like getting free furniture that people are getting rid of. Awesome.
It's
But
awesome.
we found this coffee cart and it was from a small business. Like they were using it to like sell coffee at farmers markets and stuff. And I know because in the cart was like these stickers from their business from this event. And it seemed like, because it was kind of beat up, it seemed like they literally just gave up on it. They're like, this stupid thing, like throw it out of the back of the truck next to this dumpster. And I go, "Ooh, okay, thank you. Mine now." Wouldn't fit in my van. I had to roll it from the foot of my parents' street all the way down Voltaire and into the neighborhood,
Oh,
pushing it. Which, if you've seen some of our videos, that's in a couple of our videos, I think, me pushing this cart down the street. Um, and then it was like, hey, look at this cool thing. Like, let's start cleaning it up. Wouldn't it be crazy if we just, it was sitting in our yard and it was like, wouldn't it be cool if we just like serve coffee out here in the yard? Okay, yeah, that would be cool. Like let's clean it up. At this point, we didn't have any gear or anything. We just had my Breville barista espresso maker, which I've been using. And it was like, okay, well, let's, pull that out and maybe make some coffees on it. Okay, this isn't gonna work. The numbers, it's just the volume. It's not gonna work.
yeah.
Start cleaning up this cart, and it's like, well, let's maybe think about like kind of let's get a credit card. Let's look at some
Some real
espresso
deal.
machines that we're interested in that we think we could do some numbers with. It needed to have two steam wands so Kara and I could do, a latte side by side like we could make two at a time.
There you
We
go.
started talking about like, well, yeah, I mean, a lot of these places like started coffee cycle in our neighborhood in Ocean Beach. It's a shop right around the corner from us. Started as a cart. This guy had a cart. They did the farmers market thing. It was gangbusters, and then it turned into they now have a brick and mortar cafe. Awesome. Our former bass player Andy works there. I was chatting with him over there. Just a little aside for you.
No
Yeah.
way, man.
Yeah.
He's become like the OB. He retired OB because he went
Yeah.
off on his, we know where he went off and
Yes.
did the European hiatus. And then the siren song was too much.
All of a sudden I
And
start seeing him around town. And I'm like, "Are you?" He's like, "Yeah, I live here. I work here."
he
Yeah, see him.
surfs
He gets every
every
day.
day.
Yeah,
Longboard
yeah,
Central, dude.
yeah.
Anyway,
Dude,
just
he's
full circle.
ripped. I went in the coffee place. Yeah, absolutely full circle. Going to the coffee place, talk to him about it. He's like, "Yeah, this place started as a cart, and now they're a roaster." conversations like that get me fired up. I'm like, yeah, like why couldn't we like do this? So sat
Build it.
down with my wife. I'm like, I want to try and make a real college try at this. Let's do a go at this. She's like, okay. I just quit my job at the coffee shop, but okay, sure. I'll get back into
We'll get
coffee.
back into coffee. I love you.
Yep. Thanks, honey. We bought this big bad A espresso maker, got the grinder, started like, okay, how much are bulk plastic cups on Amazon. Amazon loves us. They're at our house every day now.
They
And
know you.
and so then it starts you down this road of building this thing where you're like, okay, we have this espresso maker, we have the grinder. Where are we going to get our coffee? Okay, who sources coffee around us? OB Beans, of course. Go hit them up. What's your wholesale look like? Okay, what do you guys use for espresso? They're super helpful over there. They're like, yeah, we're going to set you up with a wholesale account. I'm just buying like a 5 pound bag, once every couple of weeks or something. But they're like, yeah, we love to support you guys and, let us know what you need. Start.
Yes.
Okay, great. Let's dial it in. Let's make, okay, let's try to kind of make this a product we like. We always call our house Little House because it's like my parents' house is big house up on their hill. So we're a little house. And so it's, whatever. We're just this little beach cottage in OB. Okay, Little House Coffee. We did some name tests for a while. Okay, it's gonna be Brewforia. No, it's gonna be, you know, Beach Coffee or something. No, okay, Little House Coffee.
I
This
like it.
this works. My sister helped me do the logo, and that's been fun for us to like, she's on Pinterest every day being like, here's what your aesthetic is, and she's like really good at that end of it. Her and my wife both are like kind of helping me with that.
Awesome.
And it's like it's just cool, like every piece of it. So we do all this stuff. We're like, okay, well, where's it going to be? Is it going to be in the farmer's market? Is it going to be here? Is it going to be there? A lot of like, stuff. You got to get legit. Okay, well,
Yeah.
we don't even know if we can do this yet. Well, let's just do like a tester. So as of right now, I mean, we've been doing these events in front of our house, these pop-up events, and it's like pay what you can. Hey, we're out here, we're a budding small business, basically donation based, whatever you
Yeah.
feel is fair for this cup of coffee, and we're kind of just we've been grinding it. So,
That is so awesome. I
yeah.
mean, what a great story to, I think, hang the hat on in terms of just wow, inspirational. I mean,
Yeah.
you really can. I like what you said there. You said you can just do things differently today.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Oh,
take as
yeah.
much as you think today with our current economy of goods at our service. Like, you mentioned the Amazon, you mentioned, small business, go tap a small business and see how they respond to that. It's so inspirational.
And we kind of like brushed on it briefly at the beginning, but the coffee scene in San Diego isn't dissimilar to like the music scene in San Diego. It's like so tight knit and people just want to support each other because it's like, hey, like we were there, we were trying to build this thing not too long ago, and now that we're in this position where we can help the next person trying to do it. I mean, it's like it's really inspiring to me,
Yes.
a person trying to do it. I'm like, oh, thanks, guys.
Well, and you just feel good when you're ins installing community, another conduit. It's almost like you think of it like there's a mainframe,
Yep.
and at some point in the mainframe, there's a hub, right, of all good community. Now, again, where that lies in every city is going to be different, but then you have veins that extend out. You're adding another bud to the vein, and it's cool to see that, it's been so well received so far.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I mean, I was freaked out about like we're really gonna just do this on a Friday morning in our neighborhood. Like I was so worried about our neighbors being like, there's too much racket, like you guys are out in the yard. And it's been nothing but positivity from all my neighbors, which I've lived in our neighborhood in OB for 5 years now. I don't really know anybody. And over the past 3 months, I've been like meeting our neighbor from across the street. Like, oh, she's like, I love what you guys are doing. Oh my gosh, we see you come and go all the time. All these young people that are like, hey, we just moved in a couple months ago. Like, this is such a cool thing. It's been nothing but positive in that aspect.
No, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
And definitely one, congratulations
Thank
for
you.
taking the step, for taking the leap. Again, it's not that so dissimilar. And I would like to know your thoughts between, we've built a lot together. We've had the opportunity to spend time playing music together. You brought that up as a part
Yeah,
of,
man.
the community of San Diego, definitely a part of our story. But additionally, we've been both spearheading these podcasts, ironically, coming out of the COVID era.
Yep.
And the consistency is always the key with these things. And we always had that mantra as we were developing music and as we were continuing to practice. We wouldn't take a week off because we knew that the compounding effect of just being out and about, whether it's in practice or out actually playing somewhere, is so instrumental to your growth personally and professionally, right? It's not like
It's
this.
crazy how if you just, I mean, it turns into like a conversation about life and about just your interpersonal relationships and, your Christian walk. Like if you show up for people, good things happen. Like if
Yeah.
you are present in wherever, whatever thing you're doing, and you're going, okay, here's where I am today. We're gonna set up our coffee shop in our driveway, and you know what? Like, whatever happens, happens. Let's post about it on our Instagram, and people are like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen." Like, thank you for doing this. I'm
Yeah.
like, that. There it is. You know?
A budding hub
Yes,
of community.
absolutely.
So, do you want to go into any of the? I mean, I am also interested in sort of what if somebody were to want to try and do this. You know,
Yes.
you mentioned a bit about the gear, but I'm always
Mm-hmm.
interested in the gear as
Sure.
far as you'll take me along. How
Absolutely.
did you know how far to go up the ladder? Right, like did you go
Yep.
gold standard? Did you?
The school of
Um,
YouTube, my friend. I
okay.
mean, we wanted a machine. I mean, there's 100 ways to skin a cat. If you ever heard that. I mean, I don't know if we did it the best way, but it was like, okay, so how are we gonna do numbers? Was basically like, how are we? Because our machine that we had, the Breville Barista, it had a water tank in the back, and you could probably make 7 or 8 drinks before you had to refill it. Okay, I don't want to be refilling the tank every time. So you get a flow jet system, you get a water pump that's piping out of these 5 gallon jugs up into the machine. I had to become a plumber because I'm like, okay, how do I get the right, PVC fittings so that the flow jet goes into the espresso maker? I'm spending hours at Home Depot just staring at the plumbing wall, like, what are these? What do I need? Okay, I need a 3/8 inch, and that needs to go into a one inch. You know, finally made it happen. Got this, and so you have like a jug, a 5 gallon jug of purified water. Had to go to the water store for the first time. I'm like, there's a whole OB water store. Just fill up these gallon jugs. Okay, great. And then you have your gray water jug, which is like you dump out the whatever, bad milk or whatever. I'm like, okay, so we need a machine that if Kara and I are both working at this cart, we need a machine that has 2 group heads, which is where the espresso comes out of the handles, and 2 steam wands, so we can both be steaming milk at the same time. So it's got to be a double boiler machine. A lot of those double boiler machines need a certain electricity draw. They're
Oh,
like
interesting.
210, 220 power. Okay, well, let's see if we can we found one that was 110 volt, but then we had to get a 20 amp extension cord. Like, I mean, there was every step of the process is like, okay, now you have to figure out the next thing. And that's what's been
Yeah.
really fun for me is like, okay, well, now how do we figure out this? Okay, Well, the cups can't sit, we were putting the first time we did it, we had all the cups on top of the espresso maker. Okay, that didn't work because we need to put the orders like as we're passing them from left to right, the cups need to go up there. Like, okay, so where are the cups going to go? Let's get a cup dispenser. That goes next to the grinder. You know, I mean, that's so that every piece of it is like you have to kind of problem solve, you know?
Forced to think through every detail. And again, what an exercise, regardless of, and this is another thing that I really do believe when
Yeah.
it comes to us coming around new ventures for
Hmm.
ourselves, the growth that you're getting out of this, even if it doesn't bear the fruit that you're expecting, or it's not
Sure.
something that you're, oh my gosh, like you become the biggest thing. It's like, well,
This
all the things
experience that
you've
I've
learned.
had.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And those are
Totally.
such. Now again, you're going to go to the top. Like you're going to have a brick and mortar. I'm going to be coming in. It'll be my new surf spot, post surf coffee spot. I'll be like, dude, I can't believe it. I had you on the show, and now you got this full brick and
And
mortar.
now
And
you've built it into this entire store. I see it really is like I have a love for every piece of it. Like I love really good coffee. I love bringing the community together. I love, like you said, like if this becomes a place, like a brick and mortar place where people can go hang out. And I'm like, I have big dreams for it. I'm like, we could do the podcast there. Like, we could have live music there. Like, I like all of those elements. I'm interested in the roasting the beans. I've gotten really into lately. I'm like thinking about, okay, well, how could we like scale that down? Right now, we're just the two of us in our house. Like, how could we get our hands on like a small roaster? Or
yep,
maybe we're like partnering up with somebody to like roast, you know, maybe we're like meeting farmers in other countries and like sourcing beans and stuff.
yeah,
So it's all very interesting to me, and I have to like temper my, you know, okay,
your
one thing
expectations
at
a
a
little
time,
bit.
one thing at
Yep.
a time. But what it is right now is like we've been having so much fun kind of developing these like we've been making all of our syrups in-house. We've been
Oh,
making
very
our
cool.
syrups. And that's I think something that really sets a coffee shop apart from the rest is when they have homemade syrups. If you go into a place and they have the full wall of, Monin or Tarani syrups, no shade, but if you go in there and they're making syrups, I trust them with my life. I'm like, that is care for what
Yes,
we're drinking.
exactly.
So that's been like a for sure for me from day one. I'm like, we got to make our own syrups. So we've been like researching different recipes. We've been doing like kind of fun little flavor drops and everything. And yeah, that's been kind of fun too, getting in the kitchen.
Yeah, and to me, it seems like this is what a great way to also spend quality time with your wife as well. It
Oh
sounds
yeah.
like you guys have always had a great working relationship, and that's just such a special thing. So now to be able to combine forces and really, you know, experiment with different facets that you are better at, right?
Yep.
She's better at the aesthetics. You're getting hands on with the gear side of it. Again,
Yes.
we all
Totally.
enjoy that, or I know I enjoy, about getting into the
Totally.
weeds, and then,
Yeah,
yeah, getting
yeah.
into the kitchen as well. Like this is it's a full package deal. And personally, I've been so interested recently in some of the stories from people that have been making their own product, food product wise, and the care that they've taken. And it's been really one of those things that I kind of,
Sorry, I lost you there for a little bit, but
oh, sorry.
hopefully you kept talking.
I am. And sorry, what I was saying was I've been a huge fan of the stories and how people have brought a quality product to market.
Yeah.
So in terms of, take an energy bar, I'm a big endurance athlete at this point. Like that is my MO. I'm known in the streets for my crazy feats of endurance
Love it.
as a dad. And that's really all that I seem to be doing anymore, is just like, oh, I'm going to go see how hard I can push to do this thing. And so I care about how I can't be having a gut problem when I'm spending, 6, 7 hours on a bicycle. That's not a good.
That's a non-negotiable. You can't be. We're not stopping for the bathroom.
That's
We're
right.
talking endurance here.
We're talking
I got to be
endurance.
regular.
You gotta be. So, on that, I'm so happy to hear that you're taking the time to get into the quality aspect of it because I guarantee you that will be one of the mainstays. And like you said, a highlight, something that sets you guys apart.
Hmm.
Um, you know, Nobody wants to do the little things.
No,
That's why you go to Toronto to the syrup maker up in San Leandro.
Tirani
Tarani.
or Monin is the other one.
Monin. Have you been up to San Leandro and seen their plant?
No,
Ooh,
I
very
haven't.
impressive.
It's kind of they're kind of big deal.
Kind of a big deal. Yeah,
Mhm.
to be able to
Hey,
put out all that product per year.
see, maybe I'm talking crap and I don't know it. I haven't. I gotta go visit the plant. See,
Well,
maybe they know what they're about over there.
maybe we'll find out. But
I just all I can do is like I know what I like at a coffee shop when I go in and they're friendly and there's good music playing and the coffee comes out quick like you're not waiting a long time. It's not, $9 for a latte. Like if I can implement all of these things and we might get to a point where it's like, okay, maybe it is quality versus like how much somebody's paying for it. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. All I can control right now is like what I can do. And
yep.
like we can make the drink and it can come out fast and we can smile and say like, thanks for hanging out on our driveway, and so it's been a lot of fun just kind of taking each step as it comes. And this weekend we are hitting the road.
Whoa.
We've got a event on Saturday.
Okay, where are you headed?
We are heading out to beautiful Ramona.
Oh my goodness. Is
Got a
this
baby
a
shower.
baby shower?
A
Okay. Wow.
baby shower. So, gonna be slinging coffee drinks.
And I don't know what's going on with my lovely internet. Classic. Sorry, man. Having some I don't know what's going on with the classic Arizona internet here, but it
That's
seems
all
as
right.
though there's a little yep, seems a little low. Well, with that, while we're still on the air and getting close to a close here, I think a good
That's
closure
right.
point. Um, One, I just want to say thank you for coming on the podcast and taking your time, as always, joining me behind the mahogany desk. It was a warm experience, as always. Kind of like a real nice cup of coffee in the morning.
Just a nice little cup of Joe.
And
Just trickling down my first cup.
trickling
That's
down.
kind of what this show feels like for me behind that mahogany desk.
Well, I'm
Nothing but joy for me hanging out with you and chatting it up on all things good. It's great, man,
good
and I
things
love
and
what you
great.
guys are doing here. Keep it up
I
because your viewers appreciate it.
I really appreciate what you're doing over on your podcast, the What the
Thanks, man.
Podcast,
The
along with
absolute buffoonery that's happening in our podcast. Yeah, thank you.
great tunes. Ryan is an absolutely astonishing keyboardist. And if you want to hear some live, that is one of the most unique things about your show is the great interludes that come dynamically within each episode.
We
So
just recently moved studios, and I haven't been playing the keyboard the past couple of weeks. A lot
what?
of people have been saying it.
No, no, no,
We
no,
need to
no, no,
get it
no, no,
back
no,
in. We
no,
need
no,
to
no,
get it
no, no.
back on.
Yeah, you gotta. That's like that's for sure like a mainstay.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the
I think you're
quality
right.
ingredient that sets you apart. Like you,
It's the secret sauce.
it's a so and good luck at your baby shower. I personally cannot wait to be in the flesh. I'm hoping that your next pop
Yes.
up
I don't know if
aligns
you're
with.
going to be in town
That's
uh
right.
4th of July weekend.
Well,
We
we will
might
be
have we might
close.
have a little coffee. Well, we're going we're this is I can tell you this. We haven't announced this yet, but we're going to be
Oh,
going pretty hard in June.
okay.
a little Friday, Saturday action.
Okay, we'll be there in June. So that is we won't throw out the exact dates because I don't want to, give away your
That's
secrets
fine.
here.
That's fine. We're going to be posting it pretty soon here by the
Okay.
time this episode comes out. I'm sure you can find us at Little House Coffee SD, I believe, or Little House SD. I'm sure we can get that over to the show notes guy.
Definitely. Let's get that to the show notes for sure. And if you are living in beautiful sunny San Diego, make sure to swing by, say hi to
Come
Ryan
check
and
us out.
Kara. They
Little House
are,
Coffee.
gosh, man, it's unbelievable. I'm just so happy for you guys. So keep doing it. Listeners, thank you for taking the time. As always, on a Friday, best day of the week. 6 a.m. is when we always drop our episodes. This is episode 151. We'll be coming to you 6 a.m. as usual on Friday. And if you have any questions, things that you want to bring up, feel free to drop them. If you're in Spotify, there's a live comment feature, but we are going live on YouTube, and Ryan will see the video later on this when this airs. So we hope you've enjoyed it, listeners. Uh, Classic. I'm gonna do the you know where to find us. So if you want to join me on the you can for sure do it.
I'm losing you. Are you there?
Hello.
Hello,
Test.
sir.
Test.
Sorry. Hit us with it.
Oh my gosh, this is so terrible. This is the way it always ends. And if you want
We
more,
made it. Well, we made it to the end. If
we
you want
did.
more,
You know where to find us at the
how
How
to
to Hobby
hobby podcast.
Podcast.
We